Juranji, I think people underestimate the difficulty of getting things done and some of the really tough decisions he had to make. I mean, I write about this in several chapters. I write about it with, you know, the first bank deal, the first deal overall in PetroChina, where you're laying off hundreds of thousands of people. And I mean, we describe in the book what an SOE looked like as a medieval village. I mean, they had their own dormitories, stores, hospitals, schools, you know. It was, and to come in and deal with that was difficult. Now, let's get to Xi Jinping. This job may be even more difficult, and because reform had stalled. When you have a certain amount of success, and they had a lot of success, it's hard to get people to change. And he's looking to change. I don't think any leader is, and I can think of in the history of the world, has ever tried to change so much on such a massive scale. So it's one thing to talk about rebooting a $10 trillion economy, but if you're reliant on municipal finance to invest in infrastructure, you need to, and that's not going to work because debt's built up so much, to come up with a different model and come up with a different tax system. And they're working hard on it. And a different relationship with the center and the provinces is hard. And yet they're doing, he's looking to redo, as I said, the courts, their legal system, deal with the environment, deal with the property rights issues that people are so unhappy about. And now let's talk about the corruption campaign. This is the most extraordinary thing I have witnessed because it extends to every part of the party, every part of society. They have already punished over 250,000 people and over 70 at minister level. And and it seems to be intensifying. And this is driven, I think, first and foremost because corruption is such a huge problem, and he believes the party won't survive if they don't deal with it. And this is an issue that's very much on the people's mind. Secondly, that there is divisions on a number of these issues. There's not a consensus. So people think just because it's an authoritarian government that someone at the top can make an order and it'll all get done. But I think it's going to take, he's getting a lot of things done, but to get the more difficult things done, it's going to take years and getting key people in important positions. And I believe a secondary purpose of this campaign is to, he has amassed and concentrated more power quickly than any leader I can think of, you know, since Deng. But it's going to take more and get more people in key positions. So this campaign also, by striking at sections of the state-owned economy and vested interests, I think it's a tool in the toolkit to help get some of these things done. But this is when Zhu Rongji was driving reforms, it was in the economic area, and I think what he did was extraordinary. Xi is trying to reform big parts of society, make all sorts of changes, and given the size of the economy, it's going to be he's got his hands full. I think the biggest challenge and the best opportunity is to open up parts of the economy that haven't been open to competition by the private sector. And so opening those up, because 70% of the jobs come from the private sector now, opening up those, but there are, again, vested interests. And I write about the importance. Andrea asked about the TPP, which I see as very important, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. I think this bilateral investment treaty we're negotiating with China is hugely important because it's fighting to open up these markets for U.S. companies, and U.S. workers will benefit, and it helps the reformers in China do the things they need to do.